This is gonna have to be a quick one because I have to turn the air off to film, and it is HAWT hot outside. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that you can make sure you're up to date on all of my new pregnancy bump dates. So today's video is going to be short. There's not a lot that has happened since my last video. I asked Mr. Bala if he wanted to join us, and he said no. So make sure you comment down below if you liked seeing him in the videos. That would be a little encouragement because I think he gets a little camera shy. So just let him know that he's doing a great job and that you would love to see him back. But I did want to tell you that I did go back to my doctor on Tuesday and had my 24-week update, and things have not really changed. Things with my doctor and my husband and I are still pretty tense, and I don't think she understands that they're tense. I think she has more of an inkling now because of the conversations that we had that I'll get into in just a sec. I went to my 24-week update under the impression that I was doing my glucose test because that's what she told me. She told me my next visit I was doing my glucose test. I got there, she was kind of like, oh, you need to do your glucose test soon, huh? Let me put it in an order. You have to do this, 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 go to this floor, drop this off, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, so like, well, what are we doing here? So she just kind of went over everything. She was like, I spoke to the high risk doctor, and you know, I see him multiple times a week, so we're pretty close. He keeps me in the know. And she basically repeated back all the stuff I told you guys in my last video. And the interesting thing about her is that she can spin things around, and in the moment and with her voice and the tone, everything kind of makes sense to me in that moment, which is how I get tripped up every single time. Because I'm in the moment, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, that makes sense. I get home and I'm like, that made no sense. So I try to be a little more cognizant of that while I was in the appointment this time, because she can sweet talk her way out of anything. She brought up the induction again. And at this point, you know, I was kind of letting her do her spiel because I was already like, look, lady, this may be the last time I ever see you, to be honest. You can say all you want. In my head I was just like, yeah. But she brought up, well, she said something along the lines like, we'll probably end up inducing you 37, 38 weeks, X, Y, and Z. So I was just kind of like, look, I've been taking my blood pressure at home every day and for the past 7 days, and I'm going to continue for the next 2 weeks, and I have not had any high blood pressure yet. Not one. I had not one high blood pressure reading, and I didn't understand what the issue was to the point where she's still talking about induction. I truly believe, actually I know, I'm just gonna say I know that my blood pressure being high was an isolated situation due to me being anxious and moving too much prior to the nurse taking my blood pressure at my 16-week visit. There is no reason under any doctor would one blood pressure reading indicate that I am diagnosed with chronic hypertension. That like does not make sense. So she was like, well, you're borderline, you know, these blood pressures look great, these are phenomenal, you know, if you stayed like this then we would have no issues, you could deliver naturally in labor and delivery unit. And I was just like, look, I know I had spoken to you before about the birthing center. What are the odds of me being able to still have that plan? She said, you would probably risk out of the birthing center based on what I see here. So I said, okay, so if my blood pressure stayed like this, where it is right now, from now until my 3rd trimester, and I redid the 24-hour protein urine test and it came back fine, I would be able to do the birthing center. She was like, yeah, but the thing is, there's always a thing with her about the birthing center. I said, now let me just be clear. And I told her this, let me just be clear, I am not attached to the birthing center. The birthing center is just a safe place. Mr. Balazone. I am not attached to the birthing center, I am attached to the natural birth process. Now the thing about the birthing center is that ensures that you will be in the hands of people that are professionally trained to do natural births and natural births only. Only reason why I would not have a natural birth in the birthing center is if I had to be transferred for a medical emergency. That's why I wanted to do the birthing center. I would have no issue doing a natural birth and labor delivery unit if I was guaranteed that under no circumstances, unless medically necessary, would I be poked, prodded, or done anything to make my baby come out faster or medicated. I don't want to be pressured into a C-section because I've been in labor too long. I don't want to be induced. I don't want anyone giving me Pitocin. I don't want any of that stuff. So if you could tell me right now, I could sign a contract that says you will not be touching me unless I necessary, like 100% necessary without a doubt, then I would have no issue with that. It's the problem is that doctors tend to interject. There's too many interventions in a typical hospital, and that's why I wanted the birthing center. She said, look, we don't want to touch you. It would be great if at 38 weeks you went into labor on your own and we would just keep our hands off of you. And I'm just confused as to like why she keeps saying this 38 weeks number when I don't have high blood pressure. Why are we still talking about me going into labor early? 40 weeks is full term. If I don't go into labor at 38 weeks, it's not a problem. Why are you inducing me? Those are the questions. And I let her know, I said, I want a natural birth, and that's why I don't want to talk about inductions. Like, I don't think that I don't want to talk about that. So I said, I would still like to explore the options of the birthing center. She said, you know, she thought I would risk out, but she gave me the names of a couple of doctors that do deliver at the birthing center. So I find that as a good option for us to get a second opinion. But I still really like the idea of a midwife. She kind of made it seem like, well, this is what she said. If I transfer you to a midwife, the midwife would call me up and say, I love you, but why are you transferring this girl to me? I'm like, what are you reading on that paper? I don't understand what you're reading that makes me seem like there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong. You keep telling me otherwise I'm a healthy girl. Otherwise what? I don't have high blood pressure, so otherwise what? I am healthy. There's no issues. You're literally caught on something that happened 8 weeks ago that was because I was stressed and anxious. It had nothing to do with my blood pressure. My calm resting blood pressure is like 120 over like 70. Like literally like picture perfect. I have no issues with blood pressure. I never have, and I don't now. So long story short, we're shopping around. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do. 100% gonna get a second opinion from a doctor, and then figure out what we want to do. Do we want to go with a doctor that will do birthing center, or do we want to transfer to a midwife? But as of right now, she's done. She's gone. I don't know if I'll ever see her again. I'm gonna do my glucose test at the lab. You know, she sends me my results, but other than that, I don't. By the time I get to 28 weeks, I do not plan on seeing her. So we'll see. My husband and I have a lot of research to do, a lot of things that we need to do on our end to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for what we want in our birth. And that's pretty much it for right now. You can see I'm much more positive. I'm much happier about my experience now because I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know that there's nothing wrong with me. I've confirmed it for myself. So I'm feeling much better. I'm spending a lot more time focusing on Michael. Abubakar felt him kick for the first time today. So it's just like I can't let her mess up my pregnancy, and I certainly can't let her take my attention away from my son. So I'm just going to continue to focus on my husband, my baby, myself, and make sure that I can really enjoy the second half of my pregnancy. So I'll see you next week, and make sure you comment down below. I really appreciate every single one of you. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is really shocking to me, but I appreciate all of your support. I read all of your comments every day. I comment back as much as I can, and you guys have really helped transform my thinking and my mentality about this pregnancy. So thank you so much, and I hope that I am really making a difference in some of your lives. Hopefully I'm giving you some advice or some tips, or going through some things so you don't have to. But I really appreciate all of you, and I really hope that you stick along for this journey, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. And did someone drop an airport off outside of my apartment? I just need to know.